Our speaker today is someone we're very familiar with and always enjoy hearing from. I always do, because he's got some insights and wisdom that always help me on my journey. Kevin Hauber.
Thank you. It's good to be back with you guys. Kristen, my wife Kristen, always says that the four most dangerous words that I utter are, "I have an idea." Yeah. So I have an idea that I've been working on for a while here, and I wanted to share it with you today. And it's one of those download kind of things that I want to share with you. So buckle up, and we'll go through this together. So the topic for today is evolution and involution. And so you're probably saying to yourself, what is this guy talking about? And no, it's not some kind of odd Darwinian kind of discussion about survival of the fittest, although that would be interesting. Today, I want to talk about energies that are at work in us and how we might experience those and actually come to know those energies in us. Sound okay? All right, here we go. So to start, I'm going to use some definitions that are offered by Richard Rudd in the Gene Keys. So this is just kind of leveling the playing field so that we're all coming from the same place. I want to take a little bit of time to create some clarity around this. So he says that evolution is an impetus or a higher will innate in all material forms. The current of evolution is responsible for gradually raising the vibratory frequency of all matter, even matter without awareness. Now, I'm sure you all know some people that might fit into that matter without awareness kind of category, but the idea here is that evolutionary force evolves all matter. As forms evolve, they gradually assume awareness and in time transcend their sense of separation and return to their formless essence. There are many spheres of evolution, all interconnected with each other, and human evolution is but one. Have you ever considered that? You know, we think in terms of human evolution, but really the whole planet is evolving, the whole universe is evolving together in ways that we have no way of understanding. Evolution represents that force within matter that always strives upward towards spirit, as opposed to involution, its counterforce, which is the essence of spirit descending or embedding itself in form. You get the idea? I'm going to say that again because that's a big takeaway from today. The evolution represents that force within matter that always strives upward towards spirit, as opposed to involution, its counterforce, which is the essence of spirit descending or embedding itself within the form. Interesting, huh? Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at these forces that are alive in us. Involution, the means by which grace, and grace, of course, we talk of in terms of God's unearned favor. Grace, the divine essence that lies beyond all understanding, incarnates progressively into form. Involution is the counterforce to evolution, that current which gives us the impression we are progressing or evolving of our own accord. That's interesting, isn't it? So hang on for just a second, and I want to point something out here. From the point of view of involution, all things are predestined, and there can be no individual free will, since all events are simply playing themselves out according to a higher unraveling. As evolution evokes aspiration towards something higher, so involution invokes inspiration as something higher that already lies inside, waiting to be discovered. So have you ever had that debate going on inside between predestination and free will? You heard those arguments in philosophy classes and things. What if it wasn't an either or? What if it was both? What if there was a paradox around free will and predestination? Okay, so hang out with that for a minute and think about this in terms of these evolution and involution forces. So let's locate this in the body to make it more familiar. Evolutionary forces are what literally cause us to rise and stand as human beings, which is what differentiates us from other life forms and from other animals. It's the energy in the dust of creation forming into something new as you and me and everyone and everything that we know, moving from the most dense material, literally from the rock and the dust of the earth and the slowest vibration, toward the most etheric and the highest vibration. Now, there are numerous aspects of awareness that show up in this progression, just like we were talking about a moment ago. One possible characterization is that of form rising and becoming conscious in the process. So involution might be likened to divine inspiration coming into form from the highest, most etheric vibration and descending into form and slowing down to become visible to us in the process, or to become visible as us in the process. So I'm sure many of you have practiced breathing practices and yoga practices and such, where there is breathing up and down the spine that is going on. Well, that's a physicalization of this process of involution and evolution. Kundalini yoga focuses on that moving energy up and down the spine. That's a good example of how we can engage it consciously and practice it on a regular basis. So again, from Richard Rudd, he says that life is an interplay between two primary forces, the current of evolution and the current of involution. The way we are trained to think in the West focuses mainly on the objective external world rather than the inner subjective reality. For this reason, we tend to lay greater emphasis on the evolutionary current, which has become the basis of modern scientific approach. However, many mystical and esoteric traditions from around the world have also considered life from the other aspect, which sees the involutionary process in which consciousness is gradually incarnating deeper and deeper into form, shaping our evolution as it does. There's another takeaway. Let me say that one more time. Consciousness is gradually incarnating deeper and deeper into form, shaping our evolution as it does. Fascinating idea. So this view is known as emanationism, holds that at every stage of our planetary and personal evolutions, there is an unfolding, hidden purpose going on, which reveals itself in successive steps. As divine life involutes, so human and earthly life evolves as we strive upward in our consciousness toward the higher frequencies. We're also able to draw them down into our lives in the material plane. Get a little bit of a sense for how that might occur and how that might feel. So to be clear, it is not a matter of evolution or involution. It is evolution and involution energies at work at the same time meeting in us. Now, our perception and our awareness may favor one or the other, depending on what our predispositions are, but they are both present. That's an important thing to get clear on. In the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali spoke about our human condition as being one of being suspended between heaven and earth. Have you ever felt something like that in you? Ever felt suspended between heaven and earth? Now, that was thousands of years ago that Patanjali spoke of that in the Yoga Sutras. But it's just another way of saying the same thing that we're talking about today, albeit a much older way of saying it. So we talked in the past about the balance needed in us between the upward and the downward energies, haven't we? That's a familiar discussion. It's easy to feel frustrated and victimized with too much earth, isn't it? When we're trapped in the world of form, trapped in the Maya, where it feels like it's never enough, like we'll never be able to solve it all at a material level. And likewise, it's easy to be disconnected and ungrounded with too much heaven. Ever had that kind of experience or known people having that kind of experience? Now, traditionally, these energies are viewed as meeting in us at our center, at our heart. And if you notice, within the chakra system, there are 7 chakras, the heart being the center. There are 3 chakras above and 3 chakras below, toward the dense and the most material, and toward the most ethereal. How about that? How about that for a very divine way to be designed? But there is also a much bigger picture to consider of what feeds into us in this involution energy process. So stay with me here, keep buckled up. A little bit more from Rudd here. Human beings generally have no notion of the great cosmic laws that exist behind the world of form. One of the greatest of these is the law of divine memory. Have you ever heard of that before? The law of divine memory. This law states that all thoughts, feelings, and acts are recorded everywhere within the body of the universe. Science now shows that we live in a vast information field of subatomic particles, some of which are so tiny that they actually pass through matter. Google the neutrino stream if you have some curiosity around that. This ocean of consciousness exists in many dimensions, and it responds to our thoughts, acts, feelings, words, and even our intentions. It is a vast quantum field that acts like a great memory bank, holding and recording every impression ever made. Makes you want to be really judicious about what you think about, doesn't it? So in the language of the ancients, it was often referred to as the Akashic record. So if you've ever heard that term before, that's what we're talking about, is this incredible memory bank that is the universe. And this helps to explain much of what has been empirically unexplainable in the past. Consider it a massive expansion on the idea of personal karma, that all of it together, and not just the human aspect, is remembered. Are you getting a little bit of an idea of the vastness of this involutionary energy? And it's not all just ethereal either. Physics has shown that even though a black hole has such incredible density of gravity that it draws in everything into it, including light, and nothing can escape, the information from all matter that enters a black hole is still imprinted on the event horizon of the black hole. It is projected from inside in a holograph. How about that? What's on the outside is a holographic projection of what's on the inside. We've heard that kind of stuff before, haven't we? So in short, nothing is ever lost. All thoughts, feelings, actions, and intentions make their impression in the cosmos. All that is part of this involutionary energy that wants to come down through us, hopefully in a way that we can digest and understand. Okay, take a breath. I told you it was going to be a big download. I warned you. Let's take this into meditation together. Let's see if we can actually internalize and feel some of this. So if you're comfortable with it, go ahead and close your eyes. Notice your breathing. And continue that breathing process and notice your inhale and let it draw energy up the spine. And then notice the exhale, release energy down the spine. And observe that process now for a few moments. In and out, up and down. And now notice the character of the movement up and down. What does the energy want as it moves? And feel the energy of all nature, of all form, wanting to move up through you and evolve. And hang out with that for a moment and observe that evolutionary impulse. And then notice what the energy wants as it descends down the spine. Feel your divine ideas and the information that wants to become known to you as you. Breathe with all of that, the evolutionary impulse up, the involutionary impulse down. Relax into the cycles of it. Be with that for just a few moments. And as you feel complete in that process for now, know that you can come back and visit it again. And when you're ready, gently bring your awareness back to the room, back to this moment that we share together. When you're ready, open your eyes. And so to recap for this morning, evolution represents that force within all matter that always strives upward toward spirit, as opposed to involution, its counterforce, which is the essence of spirit descending or embedding itself within form. As evolution evokes aspiration towards something higher, involution invokes inspiration as something higher that already lies inside us, waiting to be discovered. So I invite you to hang out with the paradox of that today and this week. And thank you, bless you, namaste.